this last video. The second part got cut off, solving this one. But just understand the process is exactly the same as example 3 part A. So you can try part B by yourself, but understand you already know how to do that. So looking at maximum and minimum values. Okay, we already said when A is greater than 0, we're going to be opening up. Whenever it opens up, you have a minimum value. When A is less than 0, the number in front of x squared, we're going to open down. When your graph opens down, you have a maximum. Now, the range of a quadratic function is all real numbers greater than or equal to the minimum, or all real numbers less than or equal to the maximum. Sounds kind of complicated. It makes sense, though, if you just think about it this way. If I have a minimum, my range is all the values going up from there. If I have a maximum, my range is all the values going down from there. That's all this is trying to say. So now, let's determine whether the function has a maximum or a minimum. To do that, you just look at A. A equals -2. -2 is less than 0. If you have something that's less than 0, you know it's going to be opening down. If it opens down, obviously it's going to have a maximum. And a function can never have a maximum and a minimum, so as soon as you see it has a maximum, you're done with that part. Now, to find the maximum or the minimum, I've got to find the vertex, because the vertex is always the max or the min. So first I'm going to find the x value of my vertex, which I find by finding my axis of symmetry. B is -4, so I get minus -4 all over 2 times -2, which gives me +4 over -4, which gives me -1. I know the x value of my vertex is -1, and so I'm going to plug that in to my equation. So I would get f of x, or remember, you can, instead of writing f of x, you could say y. So I'm just going to say y equals -2 times -1 squared minus 4 times -1 plus 6. Y equals -2, -1 squared is 1. -4 times -1 is +4 plus 6. So I get y equals -2 plus 4 plus 6. -2 plus 4 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8, so I get y equals 8. So what is the maximum? The max of my function is just going to be my vertex, which is -1, 8. Last part, state domain and range. Domain, just like almost every other function we've done this year, it's going to go from -infinity to infinity. The only part that's hard with these is finding the range. If you think about it, we have a maximum at 8. Remember, range is your y values. So I'm going to look at my y value. If 8 is my maximum, that's saying that's the highest y value I can possibly have, which means I can't go any higher than 8. I can only go down. So my range is only going to go from -infinity up to 8. That's the highest point. I can't go past 8. I can be under 8. I just can't be higher than 8. And that's how you'd find your range. So when you have a max, your range is always going to be your highest number. And hopefully you can tell if you'd have a minimum, your minimum would be your lowest number, and you'd go up to infinity. Okay? Not too tricky, just figuring out when you have a maximum, which is when A is negative, and then finding the vertex, which would be your max or your min, depending on your function, and then domain and range. Domain is always -infinity to infinity for a quadratic function. Range goes from your lowest point to your highest point, and that will depend on whether you have a max or a min.